Hello, welcome to this update for the severe weather and some winter weather parts of the US and Canada. So let's see what's happening. First, the severe weather. We have some storms in the southeast and some areas in the northwest. So there's the marginal risk in parts of North Carolina and South Carolina. So there's a 2% tornado threat there today and wind 5% as well, and hail less than 5%. So let's see. A few strong to severe storms may pose a risk for gusty winds and perhaps a tornado could occur parts of coastal North Carolina this evening and tonight. So be aware there, North Carolina, some areas, and let's see the her here to see what it shows. So there's like here the eastern here. So there's a lot of rain there in some areas, North Carolina, Virginia, and then shows behind all that rain some storms there, North Carolina, especially tonight. There shows some more storms into tomorrow too. But yeah, so be aware those storms behind that front, especially in the Outer Banks and some areas, could have some water spout threat and maybe a tornado too, and some gusty winds within that line as well. So be careful. There's like here, there's the max wind gust as well, shows a little bit gustier near the mountains there in the Appalachians, and gustier too near the Outer Banks in the ocean there, close to like 40, 45 mile per hour gusts, or even stronger inside those storms there in the water. So be careful there, and in the higher peaks of the Appalachians there. So let's see here. Today shows still some snow in Washington and northern Idaho, some heavier snow possible, and some mixed precipitation across the west there, and even a freezing rain or two in Maine, northern Maine, and then some storms to the south. Day 2 shows more freezing rain possible, not certain but possible, parts of Maine, and in the northwest a little bit of snow still. Day 3 shows some snow throughout Utah, Wyoming, and Nevada, and perhaps a tiny bit of freezing rain possible near northern Montana, North Dakota, and some areas, and some mixed precipitation Washington still, and Oregon, some areas there. So be aware. There's still the snowfall, the 24-hour probability of snowfall accumulating still higher there throughout northern Washington and Idaho especially, but some in California too and Oregon, and more like central Idaho. Until Saturday shows more in like the Sierra Nevada and Nevada there, some more snow, still in Oregon some. Until later Saturday shows more Wyoming and Montana, some more probabilities. Still a finger or two in Washington, and more in Utah and some areas. Until later on Sunday, day 3, shows once again northern Washington, more a lot in Idaho and some areas. So be aware. That's snow. There's the freezing rain probabilities. Shows a finger or two in the mountains of accumulation, because there's always that chance in the mountains. In the Appalachians, that shows still some like 10 to 20% freezing rain probabilities there. It shows northern Maine, some like 40%, almost 50% in northeastern Maine, some freezing rain probabilities today, and very high parts of eastern Quebec, almost some 80 to 90% freezing rain probabilities there. So we'll take a look there in a moment, but be aware. There's like until Saturday gets even higher there in Quebec, and still some freezing rain probabilities in Maine. Shows there like until later on Saturday, shows more like central eastern Quebec, but some still northern Maine, close to 40 to 50%, and New Hampshire in some areas. Then Sunday, still some ice probabilities there. Starts climbing northern Montana there, like Sunday, later into next Sunday especially, might be more freezing rain, Saskatchewan and Manitoba. So be aware. Still showing by later Sunday, even Washington and Oregon showing some spots of freezing rain possible. So this is the accumulation during the 24-hour probability. So just be aware in those areas and stay up to date with the forecast and everything. So here does show the excessive rainfall less than 5% for today Thursday. Friday still less than 5%. Saturday still very little. Sunday we start having a marginal in Washington, Oregon, and Northern California, and a marginal in Texas and Oklahoma there, and Kansas and New Mexico. And that's our next big system in terms of severe weather too, and more stuff we'll talk about in a moment. But day 5 still a marginal from Texas to Minnesota. So yeah, be aware. And there's these other snowfall probabilities here. Shows more in Washington, northern Idaho, today California. Day 2 for Friday, more from California to Montana. Day 3 again in Washington for Saturday, so be aware. Day 4 more across the northwest, a finger two in New Mexico from the other system. Day 5 the northwest. Day 6 a finger two in the north, and day 7 maybe further east there. So there's like the winter storm severity index still in the northwest there, parts of the mountains in California, some moderate danger too, but even some areas of major due to like snowfall amount and some stuff in northern Washington. So be aware there's some parts of Idaho and some areas. But an interesting thing that was added here, so let's see. Day 3 through 7 hazards, the heavy rain, the plains, heading to the Midwest, heavy precipitation to northwest, high winds northeastern Alaska, northwestern Alaska, so be aware there, and heavy rain through central Florida because of the system there, so be aware, but it will likely be a weak system attached to the front, but we're still monitoring that, and some high winds central northern plains. So yeah, but day 8 through 14, they now have like in the Great Lakes and some areas some heavy snow probabilities around the 21st to the 23rd, much below normal temperatures near Texas and Arkansas and Oklahoma, and some high winds all the way from Minnesota to Alabama and all the way north to New York. So that about the snow is interesting. We'll keep monitoring that. And the hazards still some blizzard warnings southeastern Alaska, southwestern Alaska, and shows more some winter weather advisories there in Alaska, and some high surf warnings, storm warnings, and everything, and heavy freezing spray warnings, and then some wind advisories in Hawaii and high surf advisories there. So be aware too. Let's see what they say. They said some heavier snowfalls, the mountains of southern Alaska there, and some low temperatures, and yeah, so be aware because you can see this big low pressure system right advancing there with some snow and higher winds, so be aware. Let's see, there's some other dense fog advisories and stuff, but be careful with the blizzard warning. So if you click down blizzard warning, they have more information here. Blizzard conditions expected to snowfall accumulations 4 to 8 inches, east and northeast winds 25 to 35 miles per hour, with gusts up to 45. So yeah, be aware in those areas. And they have some freeze warnings northwestern Arkansas, and some frost advisories in Oklahoma too, wind weather advisories California and the Sierra Nevada, parts of Montana and Wyoming too, wind weather advisories in Maine, and some like coastal flood advisories in the mid-Atlantic, flood advisories Virginia, and flood watches, and some wind advisories in Montana and Arizona, even a part or two of California there. Still some winter storm warnings, northern Washington. So be aware, but this just changes all the time. So the link is in the description if you wanna see more. So let's see this the GFS shows that front in the eastern US now. This goes the storms in North Carolina, some heavy rain, and then this goes away there. does show that freezing rain Quebec there, the snow, northern Maine, finger two, and then this goes there. It shows that that's light, yeah, disturbance near the eastern Pacific in Mexico. It goes into Mexico there and starts producing some heavy rainstorms around this is around Monday the 18th. Shows some heavier storms in Texas, Oklahoma, some snow in New Mexico. Then this goes turns to a big low pressure system, goes through Oklahoma, Kansas, and all the way north there, and potentially brings some snow to like uh, the Dakotas in some areas, Minnesota, by the 20th. But this is just a run from the GFS. This might change, but later on it is bringing more snow to a part or two of the Northeast on the end of November. And at the same time as that system, the plains has more snow in the northwest, many areas throughout western Canada and the northwest there has some more snow. So yeah, we'll monitor that too. There's the European model here, bear the 0 shows that's from yesterday. That's weird. Let's just see the 60. So shows here the front there in the Carolinas, the storms shows this is next Sunday, the 17th. Some storms right in Texas, New Mexico, shows some rain in northern Mexico there. And then the European turns this into a big low pressure as well around the 18th, next Monday. More storms through Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, not only to Arkansas, Louisiana. He has the cold front extending south, might join with the tropical feature in the Gulf, and might join to the front there and bring more rain to Florida later. But just be aware next week this system, the plains, the potential for some heavy rain and severe weather. So here for day 2, the severe weather, just a storm or two North Carolina still, between tonight and tomorrow morning. Day 3 shows some general storms possible from like Oklahoma to Michigan, a storm or two. And day 4, they already have a 15% chance of severe weather down in Texas there for Sunday. So this is next Sunday to Monday, the 18th. So this would already be like a slight risk for central Texas there. And just like I showed you here, you can read here for more information. And let's see, day 5 Monday, still a slight risk there for north central Texas for Monday. So be aware. I think Monday is the main day, the 18th. So be aware the storms on Monday. And Tuesday still nothing there, but be aware on next Sunday, Monday across Texas, maybe Oklahoma, some areas. So the rainfall again, let's see what they have here. So day 1 through 7, they do have a lot of rain in the plains from this system coming, close to 3 to 4 inches in Oklahoma, some spots. And they do have a lot in North Carolina because that's uh, low pressure getting off there. They'll become an extra tropical cyclone in the ocean. Shows almost 4 inches or even more there. Shows more tropical moisture from Louisiana to Florida there because of that front and the tropical system joining with it. Might be some heavy rain there too, but be aware. So today the worst of the rain North Carolina there, and some rain across the west. Day 2 Saturday. So day 1 is Friday. This is very weird, but day 2 Saturday shows some more across the west. Sunday, alright, starting Texas and New Mexico, some precipitation. Next Monday shows a lot in Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas. Next Tuesday, more in the Gulf, but some in the north, some precipitation there still. Day 6 and day 7, so be aware those areas. And now, like, does let's see some snowfall accumulation potential does show until Tuesday the 19th. The European model has some snow in New Mexico there, in Arizona, across Utah, some more snow. California has heavier, northern Washington there, more snow still, but it has some snow in the Dakotas by like next Monday and next Tuesday the 19th. So just like the GFS, he has some finger two in the Appalachians and northern Maine, some snow. So be aware, especially on the west, that heavier snow in the mountains. The GFS has a lot across Washington in the west, close to like some 28 inches in some areas of the mountains there. And does have that snow North Dakota, South Dakota, and Colorado, New Mexico. Does have some snow in New Mexico, close to 5 inches, and there. And then does have like southern Manitoba and Saskatchewan some snow as well, but especially in the north there shows more snow throughout central Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and northwestern Ontario there. And that snow in Quebec from that system with the freezing rain shows more snow in Labrador, a lot there, close to 70 centimeters or something. It shows more across eastern Quebec in some areas. So be aware, the European has more across northeastern Labrador, a lot there, and more throughout central Quebec to eastern Quebec. So be aware, and finger two in New Brunswick it has as well. Then it has some heavier snow the mountains of British Columbia these next few days, close to 104 centimeters from 109. So be aware of the snow in the mountains there. And shows more southern Alaska too in those areas. Some more snow. Northwest in British Columbia, a lot there. So be aware, and in that other mountain area near Alberta, close to 60 centimeters, some in Alberta, but more like southern British Columbia and some areas, some heavier snow, and like more in northern Alberta, some snow, and for northwestern territory, some lighter snow. It might be heavier from time to time in a spot or two there in green, but not as crazy as in the west. Shows more there's central Alaska, some snows, more southern Alaska, more, except some specific spots there. Shows some showers in northern Alaska with snow, and more Nunavut, some snow showers there. So be aware, those areas. There's the icon too, shows a lot across the west, shows more central New Mexico too in Arizona, shows northern Washington, especially those mountains close to the Pacific in British Columbia, and some other mountains central British Columbia. So be aware of snow too. And here you you can see a little bit better the systems like for North America, and the overview shows that system Thursday today across the west. The snow parts of Washington, British Columbia, the heavier snow. Does show Northern California, too, some snow in Idaho, Montana. It does have that system near like Saskatchewan, some snow too, northern Manitoba by Friday and Saturday, and still has a parade of systems throughout southern Alaska that heavier snow Friday today, more throughout western British Columbia and southern Alaska until Sunday the 17th, still more like on the Pacific Northwest on later Sunday into Monday, especially on the 18th there. Shows some snow in New Mexico from that system and the bigger system in the plains there. So be aware. And shows the Europeans also showing that snow in the plains into the Great Lakes on November 21st and 22nd. So we'll watch that. There's here the Canadian model too, shows that snow across the west there and in Alaska, shows in the Rockies there today until Saturday some areas, and shows more across like next Friday, especially later next Saturday the 16th, across British Columbia, some heavier snow in the mountains, northern Washington. Next Sunday shows a little bit in New Mexico too, and the storms in Texas and Oklahoma, and shows this goes there. It shows another system near the west coast on the 20th, and it does have some snow in the northern plains and parts of the Midwest on the 21st, and because that system lingering near like those areas. Also on the 23rd has more snow near the Appalachians, near eastern northern Quebec and Labrador in some areas. So be aware. And even before that, it has like until Saturday the 16th a bunch of systems spinning near Atlantic Canada there. Might have some periods of showers and some higher winds too. So be aware in those areas. Now let's see if there's something here for like ice. I don't think so. There here, so the 48 hour snowfall does show that snow across the west until Saturday, more in California, the mountains, Nevada, and across the Rockies there, in those areas. So be aware. And now the 24-hour ice to see if there's something in the northeast. So they do have some ice in Maine there, close to like 0.8 um, inches or something there. So be aware, northern Maine, some freezing rain probabilities. And yeah, and of course these values will be much higher across Quebec and some areas, but I can't find the map for that because you need premium here. So yeah, but I'll see like here in windy to show you the freezing range. So there's like here in precipitation type from the European model. So now does show some mixed eyes of freezing range in Newfoundland, but shows there that freezing rain near Maine, but more in New Brunswick there, and then shows that bigger patch of freezing rain in Labrador and eastern Quebec. So beware tomorrow the 15th across Labrador, eastern Quebec, and the European gets this very intense like on Saturday the 16th. It is actually still Friday night because this is European time. So be aware like tomorrow night a lot of freezing rain near eastern Quebec, Labrador, some mixed ice in the brown, and even some mixed snow. So be careful that freezing rain there shows a finger to Manitoba, some snow, wet wet snow or something. So this Saturday this goes still more snow on Saturday across Quebec, still some freezing rain around it, and shows more mixed snow, ice and stuff on Monday across Quebec and some areas, especially next Thursday, the 21st, still showing some freezing rain probabilities in Ontario, in parts of Nebraska and South Dakota, with that snow, and more across British Columbia in the west there. So be aware in those areas. And the GFS has also that freezing rain in Labrador and Quebec and New Brunswick in some areas. So be careful there. Uh, they do have some warnings there across New Brunswick for freezing rain, so a special weather statement. So they have here higher than normal water levels and pounding waves along the days facing shorelines. So be careful there. And if you click on the freezing rain warnings, northwestern New Brunswick, total freezing rain amounts to 5 millimeters, duration 4 to 6 hours, Friday morning till Friday afternoon. So there's some good information here to stay informed, the freezing rain and everything. So be aware, there's Newfoundland and Labrador, some wreck house wind warnings in Channel Port and some areas, strong winds expected or occurring overnight until Friday, some freezing rain, Churchill Valley, and some other areas. So Eagle River, Churchill Valley, and Rigolot. Total freezing rain amounts to 10 millimeters, 6 to 8 hours tomorrow, Friday. Shows more freezing rain warnings in some other areas. So you can click here. There's in Quebec too, basically freezing rain warnings in eastern Quebec there. So in a bunch of areas, you click on your area here and see a period of freezing rain occur Friday morning, accumulations 2 to 5 millimeters. Depending on the area, it might be different, 3 to 5 millimeters. Another areas, so like 3 to 5, and yeah, so be careful there in those areas. Those are a special weather statement and a spot or two higher than normal water levels there. So be careful, be aware. Nova Scotia, some special weather statements for the higher water levels too. Friday during high tide. So be careful there. This link is in the description, so you can check the warnings and everything. There's like weather warnings. There's coastal flooding advisories there, like storm surge across Quebec, and highway weather. There's in Yukon a winter storm watch in a highway there. So you can see here like winter storm watch. Difficult travel conditions south Kilo Dike Highway near White Pass due to snow and blowing snow tonight until Friday night, up to 25 centimeters of snow. So be aware there. In British Columbia, some winter storm warnings in some highways there because of snow too and everything. Southern British Columbia, so be careful there. And yeah, so stay safe. Let's see if there's something useful here. So snowfall. There's the max wind gust shows those stronger winds in Labrador and Quebec and those areas there today and tomorrow Friday. So be aware, southern Alaska and eventually in the plains there. Like next Saturday shows the GFS high winds across Arizona, New Mexico, parts of Colorado, and later with the next system across Texas, Oklahoma, and yeah, about next Monday, the 18th, maybe some higher gusts there. But northern Mexico is showing some very high gusts too. So uh, we'll talk about northern Mexico in a second too, because this is for all of North America. So let's just see the European. It has some better here, I think. So shows that the wind gusts here. So the European does show like some gusty winds in Montana, some areas, but it does have those stronger winds like in Arizona and some areas about Friday to Saturday, close to 49 mile per gust to 51 mile per gust, across Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico. On Friday night shows a finger to Southern California, some areas and northern Baja there. Then this goes starts kicking up on Saturday, northern Mexico and parts of New Mexico, close to 44, 47 mile per gusts. This goes shows as stronger winds in Texas by the European, close like Monday the 18th, some 57 mile per gust, 53 Marcos, Texas there, some spots in northern Mexico. This goes shows stronger winds there in Texas, still Oklahoma, Kansas, especially Kansas and Oklahoma, about Tuesday the 19th, but this is still Monday because this is a midnight. So like Monday night shows some strong winds Southern California near the coast too, and some areas there. So this goes Tuesday, some high winds across the plains still, and, and it's showing another wind maker across like Nevada and in Arizona there in California about next Tuesday the 19th, some 50 mile per gusts, Southern California and the mountains there, especially in the mountains, show some higher gusts. Wyoming, some 50 mile per gust next Tuesday, and shows another system in Mexico there. So we'll check there in a second. Southern New Mexico shows higher gusts next Tuesday, the 19th. This goes shows still New Mexico, some higher gusts next Wednesday, the 20th, and the rest is kind of far out. But does show some higher gusts still throughout the plains and Midwest on next Thursday, the 21st, a week from now. So yeah, be aware in those areas now. For northern Mexico, does show some gusty window too on Friday night, tomorrow, across the northern mountains there, some 54 km per gust, especially the northern Baja there, with some higher gusts. But then Saturday shows like Saturday night into Sunday, some stronger gusts Saturday night across northern Mexico, those mountains there. So be aware. And then shows kind of calms down, but around Sunday the 17th really shows like 100 km per gust. Those mountains of northern Mexico, 90 to 100 km per gust. So be careful in those areas. Shows this goes still strong on like Monday the 18th, close to 100 km per gust. Some may each 100. Some gusting in a part of Chula Vista, Mexico too, and some areas there. So this is Monday. This goes and shows another strong wind system late next Tuesday, the 19th, across northern Mexico, some 97 km per gust, all across those northern mountains, northernmost Mexico, some 96 km per gusts. So be careful those areas. This goes there, and yeah, be aware. Viento fuerte. So on the next few days, we might make a video or two in Spanish, but just be aware there. Shows now uh, those stronger winds and higher water levels near Atlantic Canada, those gusty winds there. Friday still shows Nova Scotia, some higher winds. Uh, Labrador, this is Saturday, shows there, shows another low pressure near Nova Scotia on Monday, so a little bit higher gusts there. Shows still like northern Labrador and Quebec, northern Quebec, so some higher gusts next Tuesday, next Wednesday. So be aware on the west, there's that system across Alaska with the high gusts. We'll check that in a second. And then does show like Saturday the 16th, so some higher gusts, British Columbia, so some interior mountains there. This goes shows stronger gusts like Northern California and Oregon. Some areas there like next Monday, the 18th, some other parts of Oregon too. This goes and shows our next bigger system on the 20th. Some very high winds, southern Alaska, British Columbia, about a week from now. So this is still far out. I will monitor this more. But yeah, just be aware some areas of high winds during the next few days. Especially the GFS is showing tomorrow, Friday, some very high winds like eastern Quebec, parts of New Brunswick, and some areas of Labrador there. So be aware. The temperature still very cold there, especially across like this is Thursday, shows most of central Canada except the south, but like shows some negative temperatures there. In the north it's very cold, minus 29, minus 25 degrees. Shows like across the east some very cold temperatures as well. Quebec and Labrador. In New Brunswick, the colder temperatures, a part or two of Newfoundland and Labrador. Then this goes shows some nights colder, like Saturday morning, some very cold across most of the west, Ontario and Quebec, so colder temperatures all the way to central southern Ontario and throughout southern Saskatchewan and most of the west there, those very cold temperatures. It shows that this is Saturday. There might be some breaks in the south, a little bit less cold, but generally very cold across those areas. Shows there, maybe colder later next week, after the 20th, across most of eastern western Canada, especially the northwest at minus 31, showing next week, minus 34, so very cold, showing some areas of negative temperatures across the east next Wednesday, but the cold across the west there. So this next Wednesday shows there, and maybe showing those negative temperatures spreading all the way into Mexico by next Friday, the 22nd. So this is a week out, but just be aware during the next few days that there will be some colder temperatures, those mountains of northern Mexico there. So yeah, be aware. It might be negative later next week, starting maybe next Monday, the 18th, and next Tuesday, some spots on negative temperatures there. So be aware. And now here does show those colder temperatures today, the northwest and the northeast, and kind of warmer in the south, but it's alright in the middle of the day. Let's see, like day one, minimal temperature. So Friday morning tomorrow shows still those 20s in the northeast, some 20s there in the northwest, some teens in the mountains, especially in California, those colder temperatures, the mountains there, some 30s, central plains there in some areas. Day two for Friday during the day shows so warmer across southern Texas and southern Florida and some other areas of 70s, but generally colder across the northwest and the northeast there. Shows much colder across like Saturday morning across the mountains of California, close to even like -1 Fahrenheit in some very high spots, 5, 3 Fahrenheit, some very high peaks there. So shows like 17 Fahrenheit in Nevada, 29, 28, 20 Fahrenheit. So very cold across those mountains there, especially at night, but during the day too. And some 30s the northeast still on Saturday morning. And yeah, it shows like some warmer temperatures in the south during the day. Some May is in southern Texas in some areas, but still very cold across the mountains there, even during the day. And then now day three, Sunday morning shows only to 6 Fahrenheit in Nevada, northern Utah, and western Wyoming might be close to like 10 to 5 Fahrenheit in some mountain areas. Colorado, those darker purples might be close to like 10, 7 Fahrenheit or even less. In the northeast, still shows some 30s and maybe some high 20s, but some 30s there still, so be aware. Colder and shows some mountains of Southern California, some areas there. So be aware, this is Sunday morning. Sunday during the day shows still cold in the mountains, especially Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, but a little bit warmer and like kind of hot southernmost Texas, some 80s, and southeast, some 70s, and a little bit warmer too, some 50s in the northeast and the southwest, 60s, 70s. But Monday morning still shows some areas colder there, especially in Colorado, Wyoming, and Idaho. Some spots of southwest and Montana show some 30s spreading all the way into the Midwest, the northern Midwest and the plains. Some 20s, 30s throughout the north there. The northeast in New England shows some 30s too. So yeah, and all the way to southern Arizona, so like 40s, 30s, especially some 30s in the mountains. So be aware. Day 5, the next Monday during the day, still pretty cold across the mountains. In the mountains there, show some 80s in the south as well, and 70s, so a little bit warmer in the southeast there. But next Tuesday morning, uh, already shows so much colder temperatures again. Places like Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, 9 Fahrenheit parts of Nevada, northern Utah might be close to like 5 Fahrenheit. And just to see things clearer, let's see, for example, this is next Tuesday morning, about 5 a.m. or something. It does show here 4 a.m. here. It does show parts of Wyoming, Montana, some 4 Fahrenheit, 6 Fahrenheit, 10, 9 Fahrenheit in Nevada, some 25, 9 Fahrenheit. So very cold across those areas for next Tuesday, the 19th. And then during the day, kind of remains cold still, especially in the mountains there, Wyoming and southern Montana, all the way into New Mexico and Colorado, some colder temperatures in the mountains. And day 6 for like uh, Wednesday morning does show like even colder there, like Wyoming, Montana, and those areas. And let's just see a little bit closer. This is just a forecast. This will change like 1 week out, but just to like show you what might happen. And shows like -1 Fahrenheit, 0 Fahrenheit, those mountains of Wyoming, 2 Fahrenheit. So those are very, very cold temperatures. 0 Fahrenheit in like in Idaho, 7, 11 Fahrenheit. So beyond there, like Colorado, some 5, 2 Fahrenheit, northern Utah, and those areas across later next week. And then here, just to show you day 7 max 2 for the next Wednesday during the day, still some 30s. This is during the day. Shows there some 30s, parts of northern North Dakota, South Dakota, and some areas, some 40s, and in lower elevations of Colorado, but very cold in the mountains still. So be aware, and we'll keep monitoring the systems coming next week, making more updates. Uh, let's just see the max wind gusts until Friday tomorrow. Shows North Carolina close to 60-mile-per-hour gusts in the Outer Banks, windy across Arizona, Montana, and some parts of the Rockies there in Southern California.